Just chill. We're
Just
talking about
chill.
movies. We always do this. This is nothing new. Why do you like movies, James? I don't understand. You gotta explain it to me.
Okay, so you're gonna ask questions like that the whole interview?
Maybe. I don't know. We'll see how we go. I'm just jazzing it. I'm just seeing what happens. I'm experimenting. I'm trying new things.
Okay. Okay. Why do I like movies? Well, there are a few reasons. I mean, everyone loves a good story, right? Um, stories have been around for as long as life, human life has been going on, and films are a great way of capturing stories. Uh, yeah. You want me to elaborate more on that?
If you want to.
Okay. Hmm. I mean, there's a lot of creative possibilities when it comes to films. You can do it in live action. You can animate your film. You can do anything. The possibilities are endless. And now that we have technology to make films on our phones, and we have endless tools. It's a very exciting thing for filmmakers, aspiring filmmakers like myself. Uh, yeah.
What was like the first film you watched where you're like, yeah, I'm a film guy? Because I think for me it was either Fantastic Mr. Fox, the Wes Anderson film, because as you know, James, I'm a very big fan of Wes Anderson, so it makes sense. Or Shin Godzilla that we watched together. But like, what was your film that you watched where you were like, yeah, I like this, I like this stuff.
Oh, that's a good question. Uh, well, I grew up when 3D animated films were in their height. The first film I saw at the cinema was Monsters Inc. Uh, about 20 years ago. I was only about two or three. Uh, but I love that film so much. Used to watch it all the time. And I just love the imagination of it, and this world they created of these monsters who uh, scare children. But there's this corrupt system that Mike and Sully have to expose. I thought that was genius. Uh, but yeah, there were countless amazing films from Pixar. There was Finding Nemo and The Incredibles, and it was just hit after hit after hit. And yeah, I loved Pixar. And also, you know, other studios like DreamWorks put out the Shrek films, which were pretty funny, and I watched them a lot as a kid. But in terms of live action films, I loved Star Wars and Indiana Jones as a kid as well. Again, amazing worlds they created, amazing characters. Uh, but I think when I decided to take film as a possible career path, I think when I watched The Shining, I was pretty amazed. Like, wow, like this is a really good film. The way it's shot, the way Kubrick, gets these performances out of Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall, and it was just, yeah, that film is one of my favorite films of all time, and Kubrick is a master filmmaker.
I think I remember uh, when we used to like make little projects together, and there was a point where you got really conceptual and you started to think about shot composition, and I was just like, just film it from there, and it'll be fine. And I think we would get into arguments over it. because you were trying to like actually do something, and I was just messing around. I sort of took me a little while to catch up to your production methods. When was it that you started to like make your own films and started to experiment?
Yeah, so I would have been in high school when we started making those short films. Uh, yeah, and that was around the time when I watched The Shining for the first time. I think that's why, because I love, a well shot film. And yeah, um, we made some really interesting work, even though, you know, it is quite amateurish, but at the same time.
We were filming on an iPad.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, though that was way, way back. Yeah, that was even before we made my assignments for my photography class. Yeah, but yeah, that was fun. But yeah, it's good to, it's fun to experiment with different methods of filming, and we'd make our little stories up, and make like a fake trailer, or something like that. And yeah, I mean, that was very fun. um I mean, I tried to do different things each time we start a new project. I don't like repeating myself in what I do. uh that to me becomes a little old and boring. uh like, I like experimenting with different genres, different ideas. uh, and I think that makes you more enthusiastic about what you're making, and it motivates others as well. Because if you're passionate about what you're making, that's when I think not only the crew becomes enthusiastic, but the audience can tell that you're having a ball making it. There's nothing like you're making a film and you just don't want to be there, and you're like, why am I making this? It's the worst feeling. And I've been involved in some of those kind of situations, and you can kind of tell in the work that it's something that isn't particularly entertaining, and the audience sees that as well, I think, in the work, and they become bored, and that's the last thing you want to do. Because when you make films, you want to entertain the audience, you want to give them something worthwhile. Because most people, I mean, I'm a movie enthusiast and I watch movies all the time, but the casual movie going audience, they have jobs, they like to watch a movie on a Friday night as some form of escapism, and they don't want to sit down and watch something that's very boring and mundane. And that, I think, is the worst thing you can do as a filmmaker.